Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German foosball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Yippee, yippee,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening, Jordan.
I need a haircut. I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, that man needs a haircut.
Me too. I started school last week. I'm a non-traditional adult. Went back to college. And I didn't do any of the back-to-school stuff. But just today, I went and I bought new clothes, bought a bunch of folders and crap. But the only thing I didn't get a chance to do was get a haircut. I didn't get a haircut, so I still need to do that. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm a soft opening type guy. Like, school will be 3 weeks in before I finally get that haircut, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to look like a try hard if you get like come in too clean the first day.
Well, I don't know, not necessarily against getting ready for the beginning of something. Speaking of getting ready for the beginning of something,
what is the beginning of something?
You know, the Bundesliga Saison would be the beginning. Oh
well, it's already 2 weeks in. We're already midway.
Midway?
No.
Well,
I'm exaggerating.
Well, you know, Bundesliga season's getting underway. We're talking about American perspective and German perspective.
Yes.
Again, unrelated here, but like I just watched this German movie that I thought was a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, which one?
And then I read All Quiet on the Western Front from Netflix.
Oh, the Netflix situation. Yeah, that was
3 years ago.
Good. I haven't seen it. I should see it.
I finally saw it in class. I'm in a German cinema class. And it was like amazing. It's my favorite movie of the 2020s.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I don't like movies from the 2020s. I'm very, very angry at what's happened to cinema since COVID. I don't like digital cameras. I'm a snob. Okay. But this movie gave me hope. It taught how people use digital cameras properly, and it was a great cliques film, a war film. But anyway, so I watched the movie, and then in class we have to do these readings. So I'm sitting there thinking this is a masterpiece. And then I read this article about how Germans hated it. And Frankfurter Allgemeine and Süddeutsche Zeitung and Bild all ripped the movie apart. So it's a piece of shit. So it's an absolute piece of crap. And I think it's a masterpiece. And the Americans and the Brits love it, but the Germans hate it. And there was a whole think piece on it, you know, based on Germans' relationship with war versus Americans' relationship with war. Bop, 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 bop. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because that's the whole American-German perspective of this show.
Okay.
It kind of blew my mind of being like, my Americanness loved this movie. Was my Germanness not supposed to love this movie? It makes me think a little bit. I don't know.
Well, should I watch it and should I make that my homework? I'll watch it and I'll tell you what I thought.
Please.
Okay.
Pretty much it was an excellent war epic. It's very loosely based on the book.
Yeah, the book I definitely read in school many years ago. It's sort of required reading.
Yeah, me too.
It's a
classic
that, like a school classic specifically, like a book that people make you read in high school.
But you read it in German, obviously, right?
Yeah. I went to high school.
I read it in English because it's American reading as well, but in English. The only memory I have of the book, and there's a good chance that I SparkNotes it, you know, back in the day. So maybe that's why my memory is a little hazy about the book. But I remember two parts. One part is when they got to mingle with French girls, right? I remember that part.
Yeah.
And then there was, I want to say the book opens with him in a war hospital, right? Hearing a telephone ringing off in the distance. Isn't that the beginning of the book?
You know, it's been a long time.
But anyway, neither of those scenes were in the movie, by the way. That's what I'm saying. So it's loosely based on the book. And it's a game you wore.
Neither of these scenes that you are possibly imagining were not in the.
Yes, maybe they weren't in the book either. So you're right. It's probably a moot point. But no, pretty much, if you like the first half an hour of Saving Private Ryan, it's 2.5 hours of that.
Oh, I mean, that's a pretty intense. That's a high bar. All right, I will watch it. I have another. Since we're talking about our media tips, I started watching. This is much more lowbrow. I'm hope it's okay that we transition into the less heavy topics, but there's a Bundesliga. I mean, I guess this is made by the Bundesliga. It's available on ESPN here in the US because they carry all the Bundesliga content. It's a 6-part series about the Ruhrgebiet, Valley, about German soccer in the Ruhrgebiet. It's called Ruhr Valley, the heart of German football. Fußball.
Wow, I'm watching that tonight.
And it's 3 hours. I guess it's 6 parts. And of course, it's very Schalke Dortmund centric. It's hosted by World Cup winners Benjamin Hövedes and Kevin Grosskreutz, who are actually very good at doing that. And
they're both famous. Aren't they both famous for being the least talented World Cup winners?
Well, Grosskreutz definitely had a bit of a mixed career, but Hövedes was an important player in that tournament. Actually, he played right back, even though this was still the days when you wouldn't call in specialized fullbacks. You would just make a center back play fullback because the fullbacks were not as good. But I mean, this is not a super high. I wouldn't say, as a kind of film person myself, I wouldn't say this is a high quality documentary. It's definitely, but I mean, it hit me in the feels big time. They started by putting Hövedes and Grosskreutz on a hot air balloon, and they fly over the Ruhrgebiet and kind of talk a little bit about the history and what they're seeing. And I mean, I definitely got a little verklempt. So
this is exactly the kind of stuff I want. So
that is definitely and there is there's shirtless Peter Neururer. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff. So I haven't watched all of it yet, but I definitely recommend it, just not for the quality of the filmmaking necessarily, but for just the sheer amount of material, because it is certainly and the two of them, it's unique worldwide, really. Like, I mean, they talk about how they when a lot of teams, a few more of the Ruhrgebiets teams were in the Bundesliga, they would have, they would drive to a game in 15 minutes, like an away game. Like it would take them longer to get to their own stadium, depending on where they were living, than to. So it is just it's just a unique area, just beyond even just the soccer. So if you have any interest in that kind of thing, I recommend it.
I do. Yeah, and to talk, I mean, towards the end, we'll talk about how the Ruhrgebiet has fallen on tough times because. It used to be the cradle of German football, but now every club, Borussia Dortmund's the only top flight club left, right? So,
as of right now, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Thanks to my team being terrible, but no, that's true.
That's very cool.
In the olden days, it was like I guess it was 4. When I was a kid, it was. The regulars were obviously Dortmund, Schalke, and Bochum. Bochum was unabsteigbar, unrelegatable for a bunch of years. And then MSV Duisburg, too. They were a little bit more up and down, but they were also pretty steady Bundesliga teams. So it was those 4. And then, I mean, Rot-Weiß Essen, not in my lifetime were they that high up.
That was my dad's time. Yeah.
Rot-Weiß Oberhausen, I think they were, Essen, Oberhausen, they were more like striving for Bundesliga 2. I mean, even my team from Mülheim, VfB Speldorf, from my hometown, they were in Bundesliga 2 for one season at some point in the in the
Isn't Braunschweig
late 80s or early 90s. What?
is Braunschweig also in the
No,
Ruhrgebiet?
Braunschweig is way further north. It's in
Oh, okay.
Schleswig-Holstein, right?
Never mind. That's up my mom's neck of the woods.
No,
Yeah.
what are Wattenscheid 09, which used to be its own town and then eventually became part of Bochum. They were also Bundesliga team for a season or 3 or something like that.
Well, it stems
those are
from
kind of those are the teams.
just like London and Liverpool, mainly London. It stems from the fact that that's where the Industrial Revolution took place. So, like the Ruhrgebiet is the German Rust Belt, is where the factories were. Factory workers, a lot of immigrants come in for work, and the factories had teams to keep them like, all right, you can be here for 16 hours a day, and then on Sundays you're allowed to use the grass to do your sport club, and that's the birth of all these clubs, pretty much. And London is exactly the same. London had a huge, the Industrial Revolution, the cradle of it, and then every factory and their mother had a team, and thus the birth of Manchester City and two clubs together became Manchester United. I guess that's Manchester, but like in London, it'd be like Arsenal and Tottenham and West Ham and all these clubs are all factory teams. I think for the most part. But anyway, that's a great rec. I'm still watching a lot of Marco Reus's wife's videos. I'm watching a lot of Thomas Muller blogs. The YouTube vlog, by the way, is a new way into like accessing BTS behind the scenes.
Right.
Like Marcus Reus's wife's blog doesn't dive a lot into LA Galaxy's struggles this season. It's really just her walking up and down Newport Beach with the kids. But you see a little bit of Marco there.
I mean, it also seems like it's increasingly sort of part of the business model, right? Like when Thomas Müller comes to Vancouver, like this is not a haphazard team. It's not a haphazard thing. Like this is part of the plan. Like this is what we're doing. And
I'm sure his agency is coordinating it all. I'm sure they have a marketing company to work with.
Somehow this gets organized in a way that it's part of.
We don't know. We're ham radio operators. We don't have anybody organizing anything for us, and we're not hip at all. We don't know how it works. I mean, we don't know what we're doing. We're just two dudes talking. Well, the big topics this week. Bundesliga's got a big topic. Erik ten Hag was sacked after
2 games. 2 games. Well, I guess if you count the cup, yeah.
The win. Erik ten Hag's competitive record as a Bayer Leverkusen coach was 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss.
That's it.
And Bayer Leverkusen's like unacceptable. Raus.
Well, it's not the results. Not just the results.
No, of course not. We talked about this last night. It was kind of came pretty fast. I think it's shocking. I understand there are I read a whole thread on it. I understand there are a series of clues and a little this, a little that. However, I have a couple theories of my own and a little bit of analysis I want to talk about. Okay. But let's just get started with this Erik ten Hag stuff. Tell me. You were not a big Erik ten Hag fan, right? You're a little surprised by the appointment.
Yeah, I mean, he had a what can only be described as a disastrous tenure at Manchester United. He's not the only one. That whole organization has been very very flawed, but he came in with great fanfare, and they gave him the key to the car, and not only was he the coach, he was the sporting director, and he basically brought in every player he's ever met at great expense, and most of which did not succeed, and a lot of which are United are still struggling to get rid of. They still have these contracts that they're saddled with of players that are training separately and they can't sell, and so this was all quite poor. Now, he had success in Holland, so there's a reason why he got this job, and so maybe there was going to be a new beginning for him in Leverkusen. But it seemed like right away. I mean, first of all, actually, if we're going to set the stage for this topic, we have to because a lot of this really has nothing to do even with Erik ten Hag. The situation is
Right,
difficult.
that's my
The Leverkusen situation was going to be difficult. They've lost their coach, Xabi Alonso, one of the bright minds, the up in the hot coaching, young coach candidates. They lost him to Real Madrid, of all places. You can't compete. So, and then in addition to that, they lost all of their players practically.
Right.
Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Granit Xhaka, who actually
Plays
I
a
mean,
part in this.
has a part in this. Amin Adli, Kusino, Hardetsky, the goalie, Jonathan. Well, I mean, Jonathan Tah, and then
Victor Boniface
even now on deadline day, two more, Victor Boniface and Piero Hincapi. So that's like 7, 8, depending on the lineup of the day, but 6, 7 lock-in starters. And so that's not, and they're coming off their 2 best seasons ever, probably, right? In their history. So this was going to be tough no matter what. So,
right.
And in comes Erik ten Hag, and
should also be said that Erik ten Hag used to be on the Bayern München coaching staff once upon a time.
A long time ago, yeah.
Under Louis van Gaal, I believe.
Right.
So he's not unfamiliar with the Bundesliga. He's been here. So he's not new. And yeah, he was a high Ajax coach, Man United coach,
Yeah.
So
and
I thought it was a wise decision.
You thought it was a wise decision. But he came in guns blazing and immediately.
Also, real quick, the other part of this, I'm sorry to skip ahead, is that there's two executives at play, just like how Bayern München has Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge.
Yeah,
Bayer Leverkusen has Simon Rolfes and is it Fernando Caro? Is it Fernando Caro?
The president, yeah.
Yeah, the president. His name.
And,
sorry, let me map for a second.
And Simon Rolfes, the sporting director.
He's a Simon Rolfes guy. Simon Rolfes fought for him, bent over backwards. Fernando Caro did not want him to begin with. So that's sort of how this starts.
Yeah.
And my thing, I don't want to, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but like.
No, go ahead. I think we can do this together.
Who's at fault here? The Bayer Leverkusen board or Erik ten Hag?
Well, I mean,
the
point that I'm making, I mean, I think if you want to keep this shortish, it's like it was going to be a tough season. Immediately, it's apparent that it's going to be worse, perhaps, than because the goal before the season was like, oh, we're still a top 4 team. We're gonna make the Champions League, and that I mean, maybe, but it's not like we've talked about this. Competition is not that necessarily overwhelming, but they lost a lot of people, and they didn't replace them with equal talent. There's definitely some. I mean, Malik Tillman, Jarell Kwanzaa of Liverpool, Mark Flecken, new goalie, Lucas Vazquez most recently. Also, that's just the board just decided that on their own apparently, and. I mean, I think it's nobody's. I think it's nobody's fault, and it's everybody's fault. I think it's going to be a tough season, and now everybody's trying to save face. I don't know, or pointing the finger. I mean, it's hard to say. It's like, how do you sell all these players and expect to be a top 4 team? I mean, I feel like that's tough. And I think Erik ten Hag immediately came in covering his butt, saying like, oh, we clearly need more, putting pressure on the club, which, he doesn't quite have full authority. This is just not how Germany works. They don't give everything to, they don't give just everything to the coach. There's always, it's always a committee. And so it wasn't like at Man United where they just let him do whatever. And, but he then put public pressure on them saying, oh, we need more talent, or like questioning, saying he didn't want Granit Xhaka to leave, even though I guess internally he was okay with it. I don't know. And the Germans don't like that. I mean, I think in general, culturally, that is just not done. You solve these things internally. You don't go to the press complaining about your squad, etc. So I think that immediately caused tension.
On that.
Yeah.
my angle going back to the board is they had a list of grievances, and so did the players. We'll talk about that in a bit. But, like, can't you handle that internally as well? I mean, the response, they just fired him right away. Can't you sit him down and being like, hey, don't talk to the press about this, and this is what we expect of you. My big thing is, in my world, looking on the outside, looking in, I thought it was very clear that this was the beginning of a new project, a new phase. That we were in a rebuilding phase, right? The fact they expected a top 4 finish to me is insane, because it's like, get rid of your whole squad. So maybe the top 4 finish next year, but not this year.
It takes a while. Yeah.
Right. It takes a while. And I assume they'd all be on the same page about that. I thought, right? But it seems that, again, Wolfus and Caro butted heads. It seems like the board couldn't figure out exactly what they wanted. That's only part of it. But the other part of it is, this where it gets a little sillier. So like you said, Erik ten Hag went and said he wants players. But again, I thought they should be on the same page. That should have been in the interview meeting. They should have all been on the same page about that. That's A.
Well, but it's not, but there's sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
Well, the next silly thing is on this other list of grievances. Apparently, he didn't get along with his assistant coaches. Did you read about that?
Oh, I had not heard that.
He brought in a Dutch coach from Holland and a dude from Belgium, both head coaches that would be his new assistants. Apparently, they all butted heads, and part of the grievances from the players is that the coaches weren't on the same page, so they weren't clear about their messaging.
Well,
that was also something that was brought up. And I was like, well, you fixed that too. Erik ten Hag is the coach. If assistant coaches are being problems, fire them and hire new ones, right? Or am I wrong?
Well, I mean, unless, it all comes down to it's like there's one common denominator, I guess.
There's also Erik ten Hag's, they were his choices, right? They're his guys.
Right.
How does he not get along with his own guys?
Well, he seems to be one of those people that are able to pick a fight in an empty room, because he has he has had this problem at United too. I mean, this was also what I heard, that Xabi Alonso just excels in communication and he would rile the players up before, and Erik ten Hag just sort of, says the least amount of words necessary.
Less than that. The other point of contention is that he gave no speech at all before the opening game.
Right.
So and that scratched everybody's heads too, and they're like, "Well, there's no rallying cry."
But I think all those things you're saying, like the coach, whatever, it can be overcome.
Fixed, right?
It can be overcome in a healthy and functional situation. But I think. Hello.
Do you have levels? Is this me? Should I?
I'm getting levels. We're having audio problems.
Give me a thumbs up if I need to exit and enter.
I can hear you fine, but if you can't hear me, then I don't know.
I can't hear a word you're saying. You're entirely mute.
Okay.
I'm going to exit and enter either way.
All right. Well, I'll just keep talking. Hopefully, not just to myself, but I do see levels. Anyway, I think it's just not a healthy functioning situation, because all the players have this feeling of being on a sinking ship, and everybody's trying to get out if they can, and that just creates a difficult situation. Well, we're waiting for Stefan. Let me see what's happening. Do I? Yeah, no, I definitely have levels. Yeah, I could talk briefly about VfL Bochum, maybe. My poor zweite Bundesliga team. They also, I mean, it's sort of actually kind of applies in the same way, in a similar way, in that the squad was also very highly turned over for Bochum on their way from Bundesliga 1, relegated into Bundesliga 2. A lot of people left, a lot of loaners, a lot of international people. All right, you're back. Can you hear me? Oh, now I can't hear you. Okay. Great. You're not muted. I don't have levels.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but why are you coming out of the
Um,
keep talking?
Okay. Well, I was just saying while you were away in order to pass the time. I was making an analogy to my team, VfL Bochum, the team that everybody wants to hear about, which is in a similar-ish, not similar. They're not similar to Bayer Leverkusen, but it's similar in the sense that a lot of people left after the relegation, as often happens. We also had a lot of loaners, and then people who had better offers got out and stayed in the Bundesliga. And there were a few people that wanted to do the same, but they didn't produce offers, or the offers weren't sufficient. So they are still playing, and they're clearly not into it. And so there's a little bit of a there's some young new players who are ready to go and who seem good, and then there's the veterans who seem a little like they're not quite 100% giving it all they have. And I think that a similar situations in Leverkusen, you have this feeling of a sinking ship. The coach has left, half the roster has left, and so then other players are angling for exits or angling for more time or for a bigger role or whatever it is, and it becomes sort of how Robert Andrich put it. It's like people are not playing for the team. Everybody's playing for themselves because they have the sense of where this thing is going down, and I got to take care of me.
So, Ted, can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear you well, yeah. And that's not Erik Ten. Just let me say one more sentence. That's not Erik Ten Hag's fault. But yeah, you got to put the kibosh on that very quickly. On the other hand,
the other part of that was they didn't like how quote unquote defensive they were being, and they wanted Xabi Alonso set like a free flowing mindset amongst the team and how they like to play. This is probably also where Robert Andrich comes into play. And I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if you saw this, but right after they fired Ten Hag, they offered the job to Xavi, the Barcelona.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea either.
Yeah, you said no right away. But that kind of goes to, but that leads back to the board. I don't know who comes out. And let me go back to that question again before I got disconnected. Who comes out looking worse, Erik Ten Hag or Bayer Leverkusen, the club?
I think there's no winners here. There are no winners here. No, I mean, if you fire a coach after 2 games, you cannot escape some responsibility. Like if you have that little faith, you probably shouldn't have hired that person to begin with. So yeah, I mean, I think everybody's got egg on their face. Erik Ten Hag's going to have trouble finding his next gig. Although, I mean, you never know in this business. It seems like people find a way. But yeah, I mean, they need somebody. Well, anyway, what's the other?
Oh, the other you meant I was watching ESPN FC today, and they gave a list of every Manchester United manager after Man United since David Moyes, and they're all failures. Each and every single one.
Yeah. No, I mean that's bigger. That's bigger than him. But I mean, he had every opportunity, and
3 Manchester United coaches were all fired this week. Jose Mourinho at Fenerbahce, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Erik Ten Hag were all fired this week.
Right.
Yeah. That's all of them are 1 week in, or maybe Solskjaer. I don't know where Solskjaer is. He was fired from Mulder, so that I don't know.
Exactly. But he did. I mean, he did better than any of them. Like they were.
True.
Yeah, but it's no. I mean, that's a special case, man. But that's why. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Manchester United breaks coaches and players. You know what the new club that's doing that is? There's 2 clubs.
Oh, Chelsea, you're going to say?
Chelsea breaks players and like Timo Werner and coaches like Mauricio Pochettino. It breaks people. Clubs break people. They have a big clueless American owner. They just spend ridiculous amounts of money without knowing where it's going, and they break players. Erik ten Hag, famous for his row with Cristiano Ronaldo, also during his Manchester United tenure.
Well, but I mean that's to his credit, though. On the other hand, like that's
yeah, I think so.
I think,
but still, it goes to show you how hard-headed he is. Though he went, Anyway,
yeah. I mean, he definitely burnt a lot of bridges with Jadon Sancho most significantly, and other people. I mean, and on the one hand, it's difficult. You got to have some kind of structure and discipline. But in this case,
do you think it was a good move?
Well, I'm not there. I mean, you'd have to be there to really have an opinion. I think if you, I think in general, I believe that you can tell in a work situation or in a team situation if things are repairable or not. I think you can tell, and I think if they're not, then it's better. Wie sagt man auf Deutsch? Lieber ein Ende mit Schrecken als ein Schrecken ohne Ende. So it's better to have an ending of horror than an unending horror. I don't know. It's hard to translate. Better to have do it quickly and painfully than have it just a never ending, have the pain never end. And so in that sense, yes, but who are they going to find? Obviously, this is going to not be a popular position to take on. Aiden Terzic, is that real or is that your idea?
No, it's top of the list. Aiden Terzic.
Okay, all right. Well, he's in the area.
He's definitely available.
He won't have to travel too far. He won't have to get on a plane. He can just drive.
That is a big concern. No, the two names that were bandied about was obviously other than Xavi. So if they offered it to Xavi, then clearly they're looking for a Xabi Alonso dupe, right? A Xabi Alonso impersonator. However,
they're not. But they're so different. Like they're very different.
I've also heard there's no such thing as impersonator. But I've also heard that Aiden Terzic and Marco Rose are top of the list. Neither of them are a Xabi Alonso or a Xavi. Like Aiden Terzic, I can't tell you what his style is. He's just a man manager, a club dude. And Marco Rose is a Red Bulls high press guy. So if you get any of them,
more. I think that's it's somewhat more adjacent to what they've been doing. I mean, but it's also not. I don't feel like these are tactical. This is not a tactical problem. I think this is just a personal thing. But it is difficult. I mean, I think this is difficult for anyone. This kind of situation where a team is falling apart and the players are like, "Oh, this is going sideways." That's going to be tough for anyone, and because you need people to be disciplined. You also can't have this like insanity, like Schick and Palacios fighting over a penalty kick in this game, and Andrich has to step in, and then Erik ten Hag says afterwards, "Well, we talked about this. I don't know what happened there," and so this is all bad, obviously. So you need somebody.
So who's lying?
You need a disciplinarian, but you also need the players to feel like they're part of something worthwhile. So it's going to be hard.
Erik, someone was lying, right? Because according to Robert Andrich, they didn't know anything. And according to Erik ten Hag, there was a 1, 2, 3 discussed ahead of time. Someone's lying, right?
I don't think Andrich, I didn't hear Andrich say nobody knew. Andrich just felt like he had to step in as the captain and make a decision, and he gave it to Schick, who I guess was supposed to get it. He was the one in the 1, 2, 3, as far as I read. So
all right.
And Andrich just stepped in and said, "Enough of this." And so Yeah.
Who's the next coach?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Terzic probably pretty good choice in the sense that the players liked him
Nearby?
in Dortmund. What?
That he's nearby.
That said, his commute is very reasonable. He probably doesn't even have to move. He could just commute from
How far? Yeah, how far is that?
Dortmund to Leverkusen. I would say is under an hour. I think if you go.
Yeah, you can do
Maybe
it, especially
not,
on the
maybe not,
Autobahn.
maybe not. It might be more than an hour actually.
Especially with the Autobahn with no speed limits. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go at off hours. Yeah, but so that's really the main thing he has to recommend himself is a short commute. But yeah, I don't know. You need somebody who gets these guys on the same page, and the whatever tactic system, that's secondary. Everybody has to just buy in, and that's no small feat. And if Terzic can do that for a year or two, that'll be good. I mean, they have talent coming in. Lucas Vasquez is arriving. Tillman, Kwanzaa, these are not bad players. It's not that this is going to be a terrible team. So if they can all get on the same page, it could be good. But clearly, the board thought this wasn't going to happen.
All right. Well, there you go. Bayer Leverkusen making a record, firing a coach after 2 games. There's a Zeman Rolfes versus Fernando Caro thing going on. I think that's the bigger storyline here that we can keep an eye on. Will Aiden Terzic or Marco Rosa or whoever run a good rebuild project? Will they get the support they need? We will see as Bayer Leverkusen continues to develop. Elsewhere in the league, Leipzig got their win. Borussia Dortmund got their win. St. Pauli got the big win over Hamburg, and their
Frankfurt looking good. Frankfurt looking like contenders 2 games in.
Yep, they are the only team outside of Bayern that actually looks like they're hitting the ground running. Right. Good for them.
Bayern looking a lot more human than on match day 1. They had trouble in the cup midweek. Needed a last-second header from Harry Kane to survive Wien Wiesbaden, who I didn't even know existed prior to that game. And they also had a little trouble with 2 late goals at Augsburg, where they were cruising, but then but still came away with a 3-2 win. Sandro Wagner is still Mr. Testosterone 2025. He is just prowling the sideline as if propelled by a cannon. Vincent Kompany was a lot calmer.
A young Noah Kai Banks came off the bench for a few minutes in that game. Another club that's doing really well is Fußball Club Köln, the Billy Goats. They had Christopher Lund on the left wing back, featured a large part of that game. He did sub off. It wasn't a full 90. And Köln are also getting, don't they have a perfect? They have 2 wins, don't they?
They have. Those are the 2 teams with 6 points. Bayern, Frankfurt, Köln, just like we predicted in our preview.
Yeah, I guess we could say that. But good on Köln for hitting the ground running too. So Köln and Frankfurt doing it right.
It's Köln are looking very good. Their coach also very enthusiastic. Hamburg, however, lost the derby against St. Pauli at home 2-0, and that could have been worse. Like St. Pauli had many more chances, and Hamburg are in trouble. Although they get the title for the weirdest deadline day transfer because they signed Fabio Vieira from Arsenal.
Who did? Hamburg?
Hamburg.
Yeah, they needed something.
Which Florian Plettenberg on Twitter kind of teased a few days ago, and Hamburg fans were so incredulous that one of them said, "This is another complete fabrication. If this happens, I'm going to get Florian Plettenberg tattoo on myself." And this, I guess, will now be checked if he does that, because this is official. Fabio Vieira, who was at some point going to be a big deal at Arsenal, has come to Hamburg. How he agreed to this, I don't know, but here we are.
Question.
No, go ahead.
Who is Fabio Vieira? What's his name?
Fabio Vieira. Who is he?
Did he play last season? Was he a key figure?
No,
Was he
no,
just
not a
curious?
key figure, but like like not somebody that you would think is going to a German Bundesliga relegation. He's he's from Portugal, and he was in Porto, played a lot there. In Arsenal, been at Arsenal for instance 22. Just looking here, 33 appearances. But he was a big signing. I mean, not like
now he's another
not like
reclamation
not like
project. in the
Kylian
Bundesliga.
Mbappe, but like he went to Arsenal for 35 million from Porto in 22. So he was a big deal at some point. He's 25. It's not like he's over the hill in any meaningful way. So I mean that just stood out. Until then, I thought Fabio Silva to Dortmund was also pretty weird. Like he was kind of a wavy-haired striker that was kind of floating around the Premier League, and I wasn't sure that I would pay 20 million for him, but Dortmund did, and that came through. That was pretty weird. But then this takes the cake. This is definitely pretty weird.
Dawn of the Fabios. Yeah, well, Hamburg needed something. They looked pretty terrible at first.
Yeah, they
very physical.
They definitely did. Yeah. And I mean, he could be. I mean, he could be great for them. Like it's possible that this will be. We'll be talking.
Bundesliga. The Bundesliga is the king of the reclamation projects. You get some damaged goods. The Bundesliga goes to the transfer market like I go to Walmart buying scratch and dent appliances. All right. It's the washing machine. It's a good washing machine.
Yeah.
There's a little dent on the side there. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. It's still a washing machine.
Right.
That's how the Bundesliga buys players.
Well, I don't even think Fabio Vieira, I don't think he was even that dinged up. Like he was just, he had obviously better players around him, but he was still pretty good.
Yeah. I'm saying Bayer Leverkusen's going to go to Portugal and buy the big bucks. They let England do that first. And then the ones who wallow on the bench and devalue, the Bundesliga is like, hey, I'll take one of those.
Hey, I'll take a loan with a buy option.
Speaking of, so the biggest transfer news of Germany finally came to an end on deadline day as Voltemata finally knows where he's headed. I thought he was just going to hang out in Stuttgart for another year, but apparently he's like, no, we're going.
I guess
he went to
his desire to only play for Bayern and no other team was not that didn't run that deep after all.
No, he's off to Newcastle United in England to be one of the next, just like Florian Wirtz, the next German off to England. Will he be broken like Timo Werner, or will he excel like Erling Haaland? I don't know. What's the example of a German who excelled?
German in the Premier League? I mean, I don't know.
Michael Ballack,
Lukas Podolski, Mesut Özil.
Yeah.
Talking
about the last 10 years.
Didi Hamann, Per Mertesacker.
Christian C. I'm talking last 10 years, bro. I'm talking
last 10 years? Well, I mean, there haven't been...
Kai Havertz. I wouldn't say he excelled.
I mean, he was okay for a lot of it. Now he's hurt, unfortunately, and we'll see.
Voltemata is next.
But I think Voltemata is different than that. He hasn't really done anything. Like, why is he? I mean, this was a real head scratcher for me. Why is he 75 million? Like, I think he has absolute flop potential written all over him. I think this is going to be
100%.
Because
at Bayern he would have been sitting on the bench. He's
for a while. At Bayern, they would have eased him in. At Bayern, they would have eased him in. He would have had a couple of years with less. But this is not the move. I mean, I will be, I'm not going to promise to get any tattoos of any kind or anything like that, but I would be very surprised if this pans out. Right. I mean, Newcastle fans were saying how, we dodged a bullet and we almost signed Sesko and now we have Voltemata, which is much better. I was like, I don't have high hopes for Sesko either. I mean, he's at Man United, so that's its own problem.
Broken.
But I think Voltemade, I think, is really going to struggle. He's taking over for Alexander Isak's spot. This is not going to. Yeah, I don't see it. So I think he's different from all the people that you mentioned who were very like Timo Werner was a good player and then he was broken. Voltemade, he hasn't even.
He's not a good player,
he came from Werder Bremen on a free a year ago. Like, what has he done since to justify a 75 million fee? I don't understand. I mean, he was a star at the U21s, but he's not even that. He's 23. It's not like he's 18 or he's going to be some kind of
It's very simple. When Germany gets a phone call from England, half focused, and they're like, "How much you want for the bloke? 80 million? That means nothing to us. We want 80 million." A dude at Stuttgart will be like, yes, please. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
They're always the English don't care, and the Germans are always going to take that money.
Hoffenheim are still laughing about the 50 million they got for Jorginho Ruta. Like, I mean, it's like, there's that one is a head scratcher, and we'll see how that turns out.
Another head scratcher. I'm trying to think. Are we ready to go from Germany across the pond to our more local neck of the woods?
I mean, we've already talked about. I vamped about Bochum while you were sorting out your. Bochum lost again, very, very bad at home against Preußen Münster, a relegation candidate last year. So Zweite Bundesliga is bleak for us. And if you want to transition into MLS, my MLS team also had a.
No, we're not talking about your. Yeah, we're not talking about your MLS team.
Okay,
we're talking MLS transfers. So we're talking Inter Miami, and Inter Miami disrespected the American player. So Benjamin Kremasky can't get any minutes in MLS Inter Miami. So he's now going to go to the Italian Serie A. He's going to go down a league. He's going to go down a league. He's going to go to the Italian Serie A at Parma for $4.5 million and get himself some minutes there instead. You know about the Benjamin Kremasky to Parma deal, right?
I have. Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't have the same take that you do, but I'm waiting until it's my turn to say something.
I think this is an unprecedented MLS transfer, and that some rando who can't get minutes on an MLS club then gets a big multi-million-dollar transfer to one of Europe's elite clubs, not elite clubs, but elite leagues in Parma.
Well,
and I just want to say Parma couldn't get Gio Reyna, so they got Benjamin Kremasky. So I'm very curious. Talk about Voltemade and Newcastle. I'm very curious about this Kremasky to Parma deal. All right, now it's your turn to talk. Sorry, I was just going to say, this is a very unique MLS transfer. And also a beautiful moment.
It's not in the same stratosphere. It's like that's like 5% Voltemade, the transfer fee. But
we're talking apples and oranges here. I'm talking about an MLS bench warmer making his way to the Serie A.
He hasn't been a bench warmer. He's had his chances. I mean, he has not been that good. Like, it's also it's not a question of here's this overwhelming talent that can't get his foot in. I mean, like, why? He's playing with Messi. Like, he's been unhappy apparently. So I mean, I guess good for him. He found a way out. If Miami, if they got it, $4.5 million for Kremasky, they gotta do that happily probably. But I think I think that's also gonna be a flop. I don't think he's gonna light Parma on fire.
Yeah, we'll see. But that was my transition to MLS. MLS has just like how Germany has the Erik ten Hag story. MLS has a big story. The Seattle Sounders are the greatest American soccer club of all time. That's what people are talking about. They've won every major title that the United States has to offer, including the Leagues Cup, where they beat Inter Miami 3-0. And Bjorn, how did the Inter Miami boys behave themselves? What kind of decorum?
Who knew? Like, fisticuffs after a Leagues Cup game? Was that on your bingo card for 2025? It was not. No. Like, who knew passions ran so high about the
in this game, Bjorn, in this game, Paul Rothrock scored the winner and then blew a kiss to Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder was there. And then Luis Suarez spit on a coach,
Spit on a coach.
and then Sergio Busquets punched a player.
Oh, I
That
didn't even
all
see that.
happened within
I
10
saw
minutes.
I saw video of Suarez spitting. I didn't see Busquets punching.
That's the thing. It wasn't Suarez's spit was more important than Busquets' punch.
But it seems like that's more significant because Suarez, he's got a history of doing that kind of thing versus I don't know about Busquets punching anyone ever. So they were mad. All right. Well, I mean, it's a little funny to get that upset about a tournament that nobody likes. So this has got to be, I mean, from the footage, this has to be the end, right? For Suarez, he can't.
That's my question to you, Bjorn. What does the MLS disco do to Luis Suarez?
I mean, it's got to be the end.
I'm thinking, like in my mind, are you thinking what I'm thinking, where it's like he's banned from league play
I mean,
forever?
If whatever your Red Bull guy got like ousted for calling somebody a monkey, a non-black person,
right?
Well,
he got he got 6 games or whatever. He got 8 games.
Well, but effectively he had to leave,
right?
And
realistically, what's Luis Suarez going to get? 8 games or something?
I don't. Yeah, something like that's got to be, and that's got to be.
How much does Sergio Busquets get for punching a kid?
Yeah, I haven't. This is news to me, but yeah, that's unacceptable as well. I mean, I think he's on his way out, right? Like he's retiring at the end of the season, right? Is that the word on the street?
Sure.
So maybe this was it for both of them. Maybe they were just like, let's just go out in a blaze.
Screw MLS Cup.
Screw MLS Cup. The Leagues Cup is what it's all about.
Right.
That's what
tournament they've already won, by the way.
That's what we won last year. So this is what we're focused on. So I don't quite get it, but yeah, that's a lot to sort out. And but I mean, it could be a blessing in disguise because I think Busquets has not been as good this season as he was last season, in my opinion. And Suarez, I think, has been good. But maybe it's time. It's time for a little turnover in that team. And I guess there's going to be certainly some opportunity for other players. It's too bad that Kremasky's not going to be one of them.
Not Kremasky. He left. He went off to Italy. Yeah, so I love the fact that Seattle Sounders won. They are the American club. They won with Christian Roldan as captain and 3 or 4 others. And then Young, I don't know if you saw, there was a whole movement at the beginning of the game where a bunch of people turned in Messi jerseys for Paul Rothrock jerseys. It was so cool. And I was like, amen, brother. It is a beautiful. And then Brian Schmetzer, the great German-American Schmetzer, was very emotional after the game. He's won every title this league has to offer.
Yeah.
One of the more underrated coaches, I'd say, in this league.
Yeah, definitely.
And I look at him right now.
He's highly rated, but
yeah, he was a club dude. I mean, he was a Seattle dude. He coached them when they were USL.
Yeah. He's not. He's a little bit like Jim Curtin in Philly. You can't really imagine him. It's not like he's going to coach AZ Alkmaar.
Even more so, because like Jim Curtin was a Chicago Fire player. Schmetzer's Seattle through and through. His German parents moved from Germany to open up a sporting goods store. So he worked at a sporting goods store, then got into soccer, and then I think he played for University of Washington or whatever. And then he was part of the Seattle Sounders USL club forever. Then their coach.
Yeah, then he was.
Then when they promoted, he assisted Ziggy Schmidt, another great German American. Then when Ziggy left, he took over, and it's been a good stalwart coach for them. And I look at that, and we won't get into this right now, but I look at a guy like that and think how great of a national team coach he could have been as well for us. Because, he's not necessarily Mr. Tactics. He's not necessarily Mr. Disciplinarian. He's just a He's just a very reasonable man-manager type who the players love to play for. He seems to have good relationships with his players.
So you would now prefer Brian Schmetzer over Maurizio Pochettino? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I just want to say he would represent maybe the breath of fresh air that I could use right now with our national team.
The breath of fresh air. I thought Poch was supposed to be that. He wasn't the breath of fresh air. Is that
I'm very happy?
Is a lot of MLS air, I guess. The air is not so fresh.
Well, I'll tell you, I was really excited about Putch's appointment, and I still am. I'm
He
hoping
was
there's
your
method
number.
to
I
his
mean,
madness.
this
He
is
was.
out there. He was your number one pick.
He was my number one, and we got him. And I think he was a very good appointment. I'm just sitting here hoping there's method to his madness, Bjorn. That's all I'm hoping.
I guess.
I'm a patient man. I'm a reasonable man. Maybe he knows exactly what he's doing, because I sure as hell do not. I do not know what he's doing. But whatever. Maybe there's a method to his madness. Maybe there isn't. Like maybe Chelsea legitimately does break people, and Poch is just not the same that he used to be. But anyway, so the reason I bring up Brian Schmetzer is because that short era of when BJ Callahan was coach, he sort of got out of the team's way, and the team played better than they've ever played.
Oh
I think Brian Schmetzer could have been
another one of those.
What I'm saying is Brian Schmetzer maybe could have been that more full-time solution. Where he kept things real simple and kind of get out of their way a little bit. Because Poch is not out of anybody's way. Now, like me, you and I are loving the fact that Poch is valuing the domestic league in a way that coaches have never done before.
I mean, I think my feelings about that are not pure.
What do you mean?
I have to be honest. Like,
you don't generally think Alex Freeman is twice the player?
I mean, I don't. I mean, I definitely do not subscribe to the general Eurosnobbery, where like anybody who plays the second division in Denmark is automatically better than any American play, like anybody who plays in MLS. So I definitely. But on the other hand, I mean, the thing that just I mean, it's a what do we call it? It is I mean, just the fan base of the national team who have called Greg Berhalter every name in the book, and who was like the nepotism hire, and he had the MLS quotas, and who which was completely untrue. I mean, he also definitely heavily leaned on the international guys, and so totally unfair accusations. Now get this Euro luminary that they all wanted, and what he tells them is that you don't value your league enough. MLS is better than the. I mean, that is just funny to me.
Pochettino's just like, you know what, guys? You know I'm going to bring in Sean Zaratsky, Nathaniel Harriel, Max Arfston again, even though he failed over the summer. Roman Celentano, anybody? Jonathan Klinsmann, anybody? Why not Jonathan Klinsmann? Let's throw him in there as well. He's like,
it's like, really.
I'm like, what the hell is his roster? What the hell is his roster?
And
but what I will say is, I'm also convinced that if Patrick Agyemang wasn't injured, Patrick Agyemang would be on this roster as well.
For sure. Yeah. He's this guy.
Because Max Arfston was done, right? Like this summer, he called in Agyemang, Arfston, and Freeman. And all three of those guys did not prove themselves correct to be called.
I disagree about Freeman. I thought Freeman was good. I mean, Freeman made mistakes, but I think Freeman has a lot of potential. And
Freeman is potential, but Freeman is being called in over Joe Scally. It's like Joe Scally is a Bundesliga pro week in and week out. There's rumors on the street. Do you know the rumor about Joe Scally, by the way?
No, I don't. I haven't heard a rumor about Joe Scally.
All these rumors are probably nonsense, but apparently, like this all started during the Nations League.
Joe Scally has kicked Pochettino's grandmother.
No, not that. It was a little dumber than that. Apparently, Joe Scally did a donut with a golf cart or something. Like he had a golf cart and did a donut in front of it or something stupid like that. And Pochettino hasn't called him in since.
Oh, he didn't like that?
And over the summertime, when Pochettino called in his roster, he said, when people come here, they go golfing. He said that specifically.
Oh, so there's a problem with the golfing. All right.
Well, I think
there are, anyway.
There's a discipline thing going on. But the problem with that, Bjorn, is the players he's calling in who are more yes or no, sir, just aren't anywhere near as talented. So like,
well,
he's the players who he's supposed to be punishing in a lot of ways are the opposite effect is happening. They're being like justified more, and that's not healthy either.
Well, there's two ways to, and I like, and I just did this early in the show. I like to compare these situations to teams that I follow, and so in this case, this is reminding me of of Nick Cushing, the Nick Cushing era at NYCFC, where we had some high-priced talent that was underperforming. And I think that's definitely, we got to give Poch this, we got to give him that, right? Like there was definitely a complacency, even under Berhalter the last few months. It was like the same dudes, the golden, they were unchallenged. They all had their spots locked up, and there was a complacency in the team. So you had to do something different. Now the problem, and Nick Cushing was facing a similar situation with the high-priced Brazilian, Argentinian transfers that were not playing defense. And the problem is, in both cases, actually, is that the talent pool is relatively shallow. So if you go to the backups and the third or fourth string people, there's a huge drop-off. In NYCFC case, it was Yale graduate Andres Jason or draft pick Malachi Jones, who actually did really well until he got hurt. But people who were, and on the one hand, you do this, you want to light a fire. You're like, okay, I'm going to expand my roster. I'm going to give these kids a chance. They're going to get better because they're going to get some time, and then hopefully this will motivate the A team, and then everybody wins, or more reinforcements come in, everybody is better. So that's how that's is meant to go. But then, like you're saying, players also obviously have a sense of what the hierarchy is and who's better. I mean, Andres Jason knows Thales Magno is better than he is. Like Nathan Harriel knows that he's not Jedi Robinson. He's on the left. He plays on the left. He's not Jedi Robinson.
Bjorn, I don't even know, man.
He doesn't even play for the Union, right? So I think so it's also, if you overdo this, like if you then give
can I stop you real quick though? I 100% you're correct. However,
100% correct.
No, correct.
Okay.
No, correct. However, Nick, this is a little bit different in that, like, Pochettino isn't calling in the other alt guys. He's calling in, like, the alt guys. Like, like Caleb Wiley has never been called in. He called in Sean Zawatsky. How come he didn't call in Jimmy Sands?
Right.
Yeah. Like, Jimmy Sands is a much better standby holding midfielder
I think Jimmy Sands is definitely
worth a look right now.
Fills a position of need. Like that is definitely not a
John Tolkien. Max Arfston keeps getting called in over John Tolkien. John Tolkien has proven to be a better player. I don't know. I don't get like you're right. He is challenging to bring in other guys.
Right. But what you're saying,
there's better other guys to bring in.
I think that can be. I mean, this is where I do agree, and that's what I was going to say next, and that's what we kind of in the end found with Nick Cushing too. It's like that the talent IDs just seems a little off, and so that is concerning. Like if you can't find a spot for Thales Magno in your starting 11 eventually, even though he's not a 9 maybe that you want him to be, or he's better on the wing, like it's just a problem. You gotta make it work. And I think that's the same for Poch. Like does he really think, I think a lot of this also, if we want to give him the most charitable interpretation here, you could say a lot of this is sort of low risk. Like the September window is always a little weird because like people change clubs and there's a lot of like people who don't come. And so it's also, this is the time to do it. And he kind of said as much as in saying, this is the last time we're going to have any experiments of getting new people in, like the time has. So it could also be a little bit tempest in a teapot. Because eventually none of these guys are going to play. Like it's also, we're talking about kind of the the bottom third of the roster, where we're kind of really fighting about these dudes that are ultimately not going to play. So, I mean, this was also always the case over under Berhalter, where people get upset about Paul Arriola or Christian Roldan or whatever, like guys who are not like, they're not going to be It's like, doesn't matter who number 22 is, with the number 23,
who would you
24.
Rather? Question again. Speaking of talent ID, right now, who would you rather have be your holding mid, Sean Zorotsky or Christian Roldan?
Christian Roldan or Jimmy Sands.
100%.
Yeah, no, that's
100%.
true for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a few head scratchers in there, definitely. And that would also give me pause. You know, Sam Stejskal of Allocation Disorder, he had a tweet, and he just said like Pochettino is blowing this, and he's not aware of the gravity of the situation. I don't know how he put it, but he was like, but I think this is also a little bit unfair. It's like, you know, it's not Pochettino's fault that people think the US should win the World Cup next year. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, it's just
but that's unrelated. That's not what's going on. What's going on is he just needs to make the best out of his guys.
Right.
And right now we're like, this is not the best.
But
Jonathan Klinsmann is going to be our goalkeeper? You kidding me?
That one's a real doozy.
Of all the goalkeepers in the universe that have an American passport, Jonathan Klinsmann got a spot out of 3. Are you kidding me?
That is a head scratcher. I mean, I guess he still feels like he wants to look at some other guys. I mean, Matt Turner, I guess it also, I don't know, was he playing golf too? I'm not sure. Like, he seems to have done something. I don't think Matt Freese.
Another thing, Bjorn.
I love Matt Freese. He's on my team, but he didn't play in the Gold Cup. You know, you wouldn't look at him and be like, oh, lockdown starter. Like, he obviously there's competition. So the most charitable interpretation is that he's looking at people and he's maybe messing with people's heads a little bit, and then come October he's going to start locking in.
Let's hope.
There's definitely there's some.
Hey, Bjorn,
there's no
Bjorn. Let's hope he locks in better players starting in October, right?
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, on the other sort of thing where I think he's right. I mean, I don't agree. Yeah, I agree with you that there's a lot of people on that roster that I would not call in either, and so that's weird. But I think on the other hand, there is also, like, the guys who are supposed to be the guys are also not really the guys. You know, like that's right. That's the other thing. Like, Weston McKennie is now fighting for playing time.
Right.
Timothy Ware, all these. I mean, this is sort of the underlying thing that we've talked about a million times, that the golden generation's not been that golden. So I think it is, Joe Scally.
Yeah, that's the other. So that's another part of it. Like you said, we do have a crew of guys, but they're underperforming 100%.
Right. Yeah,
including Joe Scally. Joe Scally always looks like crap in a U.S. shirt. Gianni Cardozo looks like a giant steaming turd.
But he's going to be. He just switched teams. He's going to be back. He specifically
but that's what
said. This was not a.
But anyway, like Poch's job was to make them better in a U.S. shirt. Like, a lot of players don't bring their club form. Like Josh Sargent, scoring 6 goals in 5 games. He's on a tear. For whatever reason, when they wear a U.S. shirt, their form isn't there. He's supposed to fix that. And I guess what he's showing us, he's fixing that by just not calling them in. It's like, I don't know. I guess that's his solution. I thought the solution would be to call them in a lot and train a lot and really figure it out amongst the group and spend time together, because the World Cup's in 10 months. So that's right.
Yeah.
The other part of this, Bjorn, is that the reason you hired Pochettino was to get rid of all the U.S. soccer nepotism. So at the game versus Korea, Michael Bradley will be honored. Sebastian Berhalter and Jonathan Klinsmann are on the roster. The only person we're missing is Kenny Arena, Bruce's son. He's down in Florida as the head coach of the FIU team. Maybe we should bring him up too and have him come on out.
But Berhalter has he deserves the call up, and he's played well in the Gold Cup. He was one of the
better. He deserves it.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is, that's a little. I mean, and
I'm half joking.
How would that
I'm
even work? But yeah, the Klinsmann thing is totally out of nowhere. I don't. Yeah, I guess he's just going down the line. It seems like he's not impressed with anyone. I guess Matt Turner did something. Freeze has the job maybe for now, but he's like, I need to look at more people. So,
but like you said about Freeze was really good at penalties. That's what made his mark. But in-game save, shot stopping, he was average at best.
Well, he didn't have a ton of opportunities, and then he had a couple of errors.
Who would you rather have in goal, Matt Freeze or Stefan Frei?
Matt Freeze, no question at this point.
What are you talking? Stefan Frei is twice the goal.
No, disagree. Matt Freeze has been I think he was a little overwhelmed by he's been very, very solid for NYCFC. Like there's a reason he deserves this opportunity, but he hasn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's locked it down, but I think he has the potential. That could be his spot. I mean, we'll see. No, I don't think Stefan Frei is better than he is.
I disagree. I mean, I think Stefan Frei is great. Granted, he's Swiss American. He did play for the Swiss U15s. I don't really know what his international situation is, but I would have no problem Stefan Frei being U.S. national team keeper for me at all. Based on our current pool, I mean, like you said, nobody's really stepping up. But yeah, so it's a head scratcher.
I think Zach Steffens had a pretty good year, actually, compared to that. He was pretty poor last season.
He's not in the roster, so
yeah, he doesn't get. I mean, yeah, it's surprising. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's a very weird roster. It's quote unquote the last experimental roster. We'll see. Very curious what an October roster looks like. But in my mind, what I thought was going to happen was all the main guys were going to get together and try to improve amongst themselves, but that's kind of not what's happening. Poch is casting a wide net, and I, like many people, feel that his talent ID is off. Max Brado swears him and his boys are scouting week in and week out. He says he's seen Poch at MLS games, that kind of stuff. But also with Max Brados, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I don't know. It's interesting. Haji Wright was not called in, I believe, this time around, right? For some reason. Yeah. It's odd. It's odd. Like you said, Weston McKennie's not here. Joe Scalia's not here. Johnny Cardozo's not here. Yunus Musa's not here. He just signed for.
He just switched teams to Atalanta.
Atalanta.
But I mean, Yunus Musa has there's no reason to call him in.
Not the way he was. No, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But between Yunus Musa and again a Sean Zawatsky or Nathaniel Harriel, it's like I'd rather bring in Yunus Musa on that one. But also I'd rather bring in Jimmy Sands or Christian Roldan on that one. I don't know, like why is it this guy? They really like the Columbus Crew guys for some reason. But anywho, it is what it is. I feel that Japan and Korea are going to spank us. I really think they are.
And then people will flip out again, as they always do. Like, we don't have to spend as much time, obviously, as we spend on the U.S. because it's always juicier. But I also was really underwhelmed with the German squad that got picked. I mean, which obviously there were no big surprises. It's just I'm just noticing how really my personal, because we were really on a high, right? Like a few months ago, we were like, Nagelsmann's a genius,
right?
Everything is flipping. We have like lots of talent, lots of midfield talent. The future is bright, and we're going to be real contenders for the World Cup. I do not feel that way at all right now. No. I'm like, I hope we make it out of the group, depending on who's coming back. And
well, we had a rough summer. We had a rough summer,
and we have a lot of injuries. Like Kai Havertz and Musiala are out for at least probably. I mean, Havertz not as long, but Musiala till the end of the year or something like that. And so
also Florian Wirtz's form is now.
Florian Wirtz is a little bit struggling, although he's going to find his way.
Right.
He looked already better in the second half this weekend.
We have two forwards. We have two forwards listed.
Yeah, but the forwards,
Nick Voltemata. And
neither of them are any good. But I think this is not the. like a few months ago when he was playing which I was so excited about, when he played Havertz as the 10 basically, and he had like Musiala and Wirtz on the wing and Kai Havertz behind them, and then the number 9, I think it was Füllkrug, and I was like, I could play that position and I would probably get a goal at some point, like with that front line behind me. It's like you can put anybody in there, but obviously now, so it doesn't matter if Füllkrug is, not doing great, or Voltemade is still young and can't head the ball. But even Tim Kleindienst did well, as the 9 in that scenario. So, but now that all these heavy hitters are gone, like obviously there's more onus on those positions, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But
Kleindienst is not part of this.
Excited.
Kleindienst is not part of this roster.
No, he's not on this roster. He's injured. Yeah, he has an injury, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
The other big thing, which isn't huge because Oliver Baumann did very formidably, I think, is that Andre ter Stegen has an injury problem and a club problem. Andre ter Stegen is struggling, and there are rumors that Manuel Neuer has been called to maybe consider coming back.
Okay.
Which I don't think that's necessary. I think Oliver Baumann, was a very formidable.
Yeah, I think goalies is never the problem for a German team, and
they got Finn Dahmen from Augsburg is part of this squad.
Yeah, who had a bit of a rough, had a very rough game against Bayern. In the build out, like I guess Augsburg now also pretty committed to playing out of the back, and that went extremely poorly, like right from the get go.
Is Undav injured too?
Yeah, he went off injured early over the weekend. Yeah, so but I think he didn't get called in before that. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, anyway, I'm just not feeling great about the national.
However, I still love what what's his name?
Julian Nagelsmann.
I still love what Nagelsmann's doing. He's very, very much calling up a roster made up of a bunch of guys from different clubs. He's not just calling on all the Bayern guys.
That's true. He's
got 3 Bayern guys.
He's been really good.
He's got 2 dudes from Mainz, 2 dudes from Dortmund.
He's been really good
from Stuttgart.
At expanding. Yeah, he's been really good at expanding the roster, giving people chances, creating competition. I'm worried about the Kimmich thing. Like, I thought Kimmich was good as a fullback. Now Kimmich is moving. If Kimmich is moving into the midfield, then that sort of changes that whole dynamic. And if it's Kimmich and Goretzka,
right?
I don't know. I was more excited about Pavlovic and Stiller, honestly. So
is Pavlovic injured?
He's also injured. Yeah, he's another.
A lot of injuries.
So,
but overall, nothing to freak out about, though. I think.
No, it's not. It's not freaking out. I was just like, yeah. It was kind of, I felt, I was just noticing the lack of enthusiasm.
The summer was rough, but it was also the finals that we earned by knocking out Portugal. Really have, everything was really, really good up until the summer. A little bit of a rough summer, but it doesn't matter. Have a rough summer now to have a successful summer next summer.
If that's how it goes, then I'm on board.
Yeah, so I will also watch these 2 games pretty closely, Northern Ireland and Slovakia. All right, cool.
Have we done it?
Did we do it? I think we did it.
All right.
Erik Ten Hag and Brian Schmetzer. Voltemade, he went off to Newcastle. What will he do?
Never heard of him again.
Luis Suarez spit on a guy again. Hey, how long is he gonna go away?
We don't know, but we'll tell you anyway.
NYCFC hype.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about it.
Podcast is done.
I don't get to talk about my team at all.
I guess nothing to talk about
in this case.
You're in the playoffs. So congratulations, you're in the playoffs.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
Goodbye.
We had a scoreless draw. ML Forsberg talked to the fans after the game. There you go. Cheers, everybody. Bis nächste Woche.
Bye.
Tschüss. Luis Suarez spit on a guy. Sergio punched. Sergio punched a guy.
This is going to be a new feature. All right, goodbye.
At the end of the episode, we take everything we do and turn it into a song. Like if you're